working great, Cynthia. So thank you so much for making yourself available. And I don't know what time is it. It's like something like 11:30 in the night there. 11 o'clock.
Close.
What is it?
11:15.
11:15. Wow. And this is you at 11:15 in the night.
Yes. I can stay awake at night. It's the mornings I'm like, ah.
Wow. Okay. You look as fresh as a flower right now, with dew on it.
It's nighttime.
11:15 night. Okay, so I am pretty much sober myself because it is, like 12 here in India, right? I don't know what time is it. Let me tell you. Yeah, 11:47 a.m. in the morning.
Yes, I know the difference.
Yeah, great, fantastic. This is good. So thank you, Cynthia, for this. This is my first ever interview. I never imagined I'm going to interview anybody.
Well, after this interview, you can't ever say never again.
I know. Never say never again. Absolutely. I didn't say I didn't say I was not going to interview, but I never interviewed anybody, right? And you're absolutely right. That statement is going to change now. And so this is an amateur kind of interview. Pardon.
Oh, no, it's not.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for, coming in. And when I heard that small interview that, somebody in our group did earlier, remember? I said, no, I have to interview this person. I have to get hold of Cynthia and interview her because you had a mind-blowing story. And that interview covered a different aspect. But what I really got driven by was that you just gave a glimpse of your story. It was just like, I don't know, like 10 seconds. I just learned that you have this condition, and I said, you know what? Oh, that's where the real story is for me, at least, And I said, no, I have to get it out. And that's why I, pinged you, and you're more than a sport. You willingly agreed that, okay, let's do this. And I said, oh, great, this is great. And so here we are.
Here we are.
The universe asked
about my condition.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much, for that, peacock dress. It brings so many colors on the screen. Technicolor.
I love color because I like color in my life, and my whole place has got lots of colors in it because it keeps me bright, it keeps me shiny. Not that I'm already not bright and shiny, but it's like me radiating outward. It's like, keep that brightness going.
Absolutely right. And this is the part I love best, that you have something called as fibromyalgia, I think.
It's fibromyalgia. It's called fibromyalgia.
Fibromyalgia, okay. And I didn't even know this word. I just had heard it sometime, it was just like in the subconscious. But when you mentioned that the other day, I said, wow. And I started Googling that and said, oh, wow, this is it. This is a mind-blowing story. I have to have it because this doesn't look like a lady who has fibromyalgia or XYZ for that matter. And, and that's what I said, this is like 11:30, almost nighttime there. And you're as fresh as the colors, that you're wearing. And, that's the beauty. That says something about you, right? That says something about you.
It is the beauty that I found through, I mean, I already knew this kind of beauty before I got the illness, but after I was able to get myself to the other side of the illness, then this is all I want to be. I want to be the happy self. I want to be the joyful self. That's what the energy I'm going to go for. That's what I'm going to every day. That's what I'm aiming for, is to get this best me out, to have this best me come forward, because I don't want to go back and be in that fibromyalgia state, because it's not fun there. And believe me, if I am not talking my story and sharing what I'm doing, then that's where I can end up again, because then I'm not living my life's purpose anymore.
Right.
It's a challenge. It's a balancing challenge. I have to balance how I emotionally feel inside to ensure that I can have my better way in life going forward here.
I can completely understand that, and I'm back to struggling with, this thing. That I'm trying to be visible myself also on the screen. Now I'm out of the screen completely. and be like, only one person is talking, so I'm just trying to, but anyway, I'll figure that out later.
Oh, for the recording, yeah, you should have it so we're both on the
Yeah, I
screen.
know. Screen, okay, gallery view. So now we are three people, visible, at least
Yeah.
two of them. I want to ask you something. When you said your illness, right? I want to ask you, did you call it illness earlier on, or do you think about it as a condition?
I'm not quite sure because they're almost the same.
Yeah, I know. Ill is, ill has, it's such a loaded word because, the way it's used and the way you are seeing your illness, so-called illness, is a little different. You're not seeing that as an illness, but the way people interpret the word illness is a little different, right? So this is a thought, maybe condition, is more like what you are feeling. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
okay. My idea what an illness is or condition is it's a dis-ease. It's a dis-ease to the body. The body's not in ease.
Yeah.
It's in dis-ease. And so that's what we call illness, is dis-ease. But to me, I mean, it's an illness, a condition. I can easily go from this state. And if I'm not working, if I'm not doing what I'm divinely supposed to be doing, that fog, that fibromyalgia fog can come back and seep over me. And at that moment, it's like, what am I going to do at that moment? I have to become stronger than the enemy.
Okay, got it. Great. Okay, fair enough. So I understand that. We don't need to, think about the words. It's what you are thinking about, this condition or illness, or what you want to call this, fibromyalgia, and you call it FMS in short form.
That's the short form. FMS is a short form. That makes it easy to search and everything. So I'll tell you my journey. I can tell you how I felt before I ever had fibromyalgia, and then I can tell you when it came into my life.
I want to first, sorry to intervene, but first of all, I want to know, when did you really realize you had something which was out of whack, so to say, and then how, you learned this, and then you went to the doctors, maybe when, and how did this all happen, and then what's the prognosis, how this is going to go ahead. Is it going to, because I Googled it a bit, and I realized that it's not a fatal condition, but it's a very debilitating condition. It can be a very debilitating condition, right? That's what I read.
It is very disabling. And I mean, it took my life away pretty much to what I ever thought life was ever supposed to be, because I was a person that was working 40 plus hours and have the energy to do it. And coming home and doing whatever. I mean, there was no end to being energetic, So
Cynthia, why? First of all, let me get you in a secret. Why I was so driven to get your interview. Number one is my own topic. My own kind of mission in life, so to say, is my niche, so to say, is health. So pill-free, especially pill-free health, healing, and longevity. And when I learned that you were on medication for a lot of time, a lot of years, and then you went off it, you thought it's not working for you. I said, okay, this is my lady. I need to get to speak to her. I want to know her secrets. Okay. So yes, I want you to spill all the beans today. And yes, please go ahead. Please tell me about the journey. I'd love to hear it.
Well, like I said, I was energetic, and I was, I was already in love with life. I mean, I would go out to the world, I'd enjoy life. I mean, because life was happy for me. And then I had my child when I was 40. And when I was 42, I just started not having the energy. It's like I didn't have the strength. I didn't have the oof. I didn't have the, it's like I didn't know what it was. It was like something, it was like this big old fog or this big old cloud came down, and it was holding me down, saying, you don't get to move. You don't get to do anything. And geez, to say how many doctors I went to for over that's going to be crazy. But that feeling when my daughter's only 2, And I'm
Okay.
going, how am I supposed to be raising my daughter when I
At
don't
that
have,
time. At that time. Two at that time.
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. Two. Wow. Okay.
How was I supposed to have the strength to raise her?
Wow. Okay.
And so I started going to see different doctors, not knowing what was wrong with me or why. And you know, I went to the OB doctors for, you know, postpartum depression or anything
Right.
that might be because you had a baby later in life, and nobody
Right.
could pinpoint anything on me, or
Yeah.
they couldn't figure out what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I went to regular doctors that couldn't figure it out, that sent,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't, I mean, back when I was diagnosed, they didn't know. I mean,
Right.
there was no acceptance. It was not accepted as that you have fibromyalgia, or as if that's even legit. Not like today. Today it's a lot more
Yeah.
legit.
That's what, you know, I also, when I, you know, Google that word up, it says that it's even difficult to diagnose it, because the way you diagnose it typically is you rule out all other, you know, 5, 10 other disorders. And I said,
I,
okay, really? I mean, this is
I did have a
incredible.
I did have a doctor that diagnosed it kind of in a word form, but they couldn't medically say it. So I knew right away what I was, the name of the condition that I had. See, now I'll call it a condition because I know what I've done with it. You know, the
There
illness
you
is
go.
because I call it a disease, but the condition is because of what I've done with it. Okay.
Okay, wonderful.
Right.
I like that. Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
So the doctors would they send me to a neurologist to see if something's wrong with my nerves.
Okay.
And, you know, and it takes time for those kind of appointments. It's not like just seeing your regular doctor. Now you got to wait another 6 months or 8 months to see that
Yep.
doctor, you know,
Yep.
and the repeat visits to find out they can't find anything wrong. And so they're eliminating, well, the closest thing we can find is the fibromyalgia.
Yep.
But we can't surrender there. We're going to send you to a bone doctor, and the same thing. Then we can't figure it out there. We're going to send you to a psychologist. They can't. Psychologist is not where somebody with fibromyalgia needs to be, because they're going to take your whole story and mix it up and make it seem like that. I was like, I'm not coming back here because I'm already having a hard enough time.
I sorry for laughing, you know, but I mean, I can completely understand what you said, you know, that just, you know, one more doctor and, you know, one more viewpoint, and it's just very confusing, and you know how you feel, and you know that's not it. You know in the guts, you know, they are the medically professional people, medically certified, but you know yourself best what you're going
Right.
through, right? And that
Right.
doesn't seem to sink. So yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and one, I would say the biggest way I can describe fibromyalgia, if I were to kind of try to sum it up in the little words, even though there's a whole bunch of conditions that happen with it, is it's like your mind's over here and your body's over here. And your body's trying to tell your mind what it needs, but the mind can't hear it because the mind's off trying to figure out what the body needs, but not really connected to the body. So it's not,
Really?
they're not communicating. But I didn't know that at that time. And it took me years of having the condition to say, if now that I'm saying I'm 98% well, but that, you know, it doesn't mean it doesn't sneak back in me when I have my bad moments, you know.
Wow. Okay.
But
Can you just elaborate? Sorry to intervene, but you
go
know, can you
ahead.
just elaborate that body and mind being different? What do you mean by that? I mean, just a line now, you know?
Like the mind is thinking this, like, I got to get my clothes on. And my body's going, no, I'm aching over here. You need to soak me in the bathtub with some salt water, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
body is trying to tell the mind that it needs something, but the mind is so busy thinking about what it needs to do to take care of just basic life at this point. For me to get up and get my clothes on became a 3-hour mission, not no 10-minute.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Really?
like, yeah, it's like in 3 hours, you know, half my morning's already gone by and I haven't gotten hardly anything else done because I'm
Wow.
not being able to put 2 and 2 together.
Okay. Is that bad? Is it when you started?
It it gets bad. I mean, it's bad where your thoughts are not working together with what the body needs is
And
pretty.
so, yeah, and so you're saying, and at that point of time, you had a 2-year-old daughter to take care of. That's what you said, right?
Through
And
through all of this, by the time I went to all these doctors, she's probably like 7 or 8 now. And
right,
through that time, they put me on antidepressants, muscle relaxers, pain pills,
yeah,
sleeping medications. And it's like, as they were dosing me with that stuff, it was like, this isn't working. This is it. I found out it took time for me to figure out that it was more of a cover up than a fix, because at
right.
first it makes it seem like that you can get up and do a little bit of this and do a little bit of that. But
Right.
as time of you taking that type of medicine, it gets into your body and your body starts operating. So they got to give you more.
Okay. The dose keeps on increasing a bit.
Yeah. And
Okay.
it's like, how much more do you think somebody can take?
Okay. So just that. So, I mean, how many pills were taking earlier and how much did it increase to? This is interesting, believe me. I find this very interesting, that you realize this and then you went back of not taking it. So how many did you start with and when did it end up? And when you said, okay, this is not working for me.
It is so many years. I don't even know. I mean, because it's 15 years of trying this and trying that. I know.
Wow. Okay.
Um,
So you're
Probably
taking
my
how many
dose is
pills?
very low compared to a lot of other people's doses were, but it just wasn't working for myself. It was like, I still felt like the medicine was covering up what was actually wrong.
Yeah, that's okay.
And to top it off, it took some of that medicine wasn't easy to get off of.
Ah,
All
that's
right. I became aware that I didn't want to be on the medicines, and the doctors don't know how to take you off of it. They can cut you off, but then they don't want to do that. They
right.
want to dose you down. So I'm the one that cut my medicine down. I got myself
Very
off
good.
medicines that the doctor's going, how did you do that? And I go, because my will and my desire,
Very good.
I would go from 2 tablets to a tablet and a half to a half a tablet to a third of a tablet to a fourth of a tablet till all of a sudden there was no tablet.
I love this. This is the part I love most, because what you said is doctors want to taper it down, but the real action needs to be done by the person who is suffering this condition. And that's the person who can help bring the dose down. So I just love what you said, that I just was, so driven that, I studying, okay, it's not working for me. First stage was I thought that realizing that not working for you. That was the first one, at least. Second was you realize that, because it's covering up what you realize it's not really just suppressing the symptoms, not taking care of the cost, right? And then that's what made you kind of determined. Please correct me if I got this right or not. And then you said, okay, this is not working. I have to cut this down. And then because you can't suddenly stop it, you have to taper it off, just like any addiction on a drug. This is also pharma, drug in a way, right? It is, of course. But it's a medical drug, of course, medicinal drug. And so that you have to taper it off just like you do in any addiction, right? So you addicted yourself to 0 pills.
And it took a long time.
Was it? How many months?
From the time that I really said that I'm going to get off of everything, I would say at least 2 years to get off of everything.
Wow, that's.
And it was all of my doing it. And the doctors, every time I would go in, they would go, oh, really? Oh, really? And to know that I have some clients today that I've taught them some of my methods that they're doing the same thing.
Perfect. That's exactly. See, once you experience that freedom, right? That you can take charge of your own life, and that there's a lot of strong mind factor to it, the will about it, and then you want to share that with others, right? That's
Right.
the next logical step. You want to share whatever you have experienced, the beauty of it, the freedom that you gain out of it. And I just love this. This is that's why I told you, right? Pill-free health, healing, and longevity. That's my passion, really, and I don't want to intervene, but I want to, this is all about you. I just want to say that last 40 plus years, I have taken maybe not more than 4 to 6 pills, allopathic tablets, not more than 4 to 6. You know that?
Awesome.
So, that's, and so I just love hearing this. And I love that you're now helping people to, be independent, to come out of that addiction, because otherwise just the dose just keeps on increasing. I love this.
It has to come from somebody that, first they're looking for their life.
Absolutely. Getting your life back.
Yes.
Getting your life back. Yeah.
It's somebody that's looking for their life because they want to live the life that they're here for. They're tired of suffering. And when they come to me in that format and are under medication, they're at that time wanting to release that medicine. And so I give them tips and clues of what it takes. And it is a mind altering experience.
Absolutely.
Now, I didn't have anybody holding my hand when I was going through it. I did it all on my own. So
this is it. I like this. So this is where can come from. And so what we have about 8-9 minutes more, and that's not I would like to have this going
8-9 minutes. I got a whole story to tell.
I can see that. I'm talking the time limit that Zoom has set up for us. It seems I just got a message flashing on the screen saying you have 10 minutes. That was a minute ago, but I didn't want to interrupt at that point of time. So if I drop on you, don't worry, we'll get back on again. Okay, but let's do this. Let's try to finish this up in 8 minutes. Maybe we'll continue afterwards again. But so what is the takeaway? Because why we are doing this, right? Because we want people looking or here and seeing this really understand, know that there is a way out.
There is a way out, and it is through our mind. It is our mind that's going to help us find the way out. And sometimes we don't know how to do that with our minds because we've been told all these no's you can't do. They've made us impossible from the moment we were born. I mean, when we were kids, you can't do it. Go in your room, be quiet, shut up. You don't know any better. I don't want to hear your story. Now we're all adults. They don't want to hear my story. BS. I'm telling my story.
Absolutely true.
So I had found a book that was in the 1800s that told me about women that had this condition back in the 1800s, and it was because they're not doing what their aligned path, their aligned mission was to do. They were actually doing what everybody else told them to do. So what you're doing is you're working out of conflict. So that's the information that I pulled together. Oh, I'm being a wife and a mom all in this way that I didn't believe was set to be true. It's like I was doing it by society thinks a mom's supposed to do this, and society thinks a wife's supposed to be doing this. And it conflicted with my internal energy to how that was all about, because there was some disagreements to how that went about. And that's why the fibromyalgia started setting in, is because I started living somebody else's life, somebody else's dream, not mine. I put my cards away, I put my massage away, I put all of my spiritual stuff away to live this American dream, which I got sick from because it was no dream.
That's a big statement.
Okay. Yeah, I was already living the dream.
That's it. Okay, got it.
Yes, I was already living the dream, and I traded it in and put on these mom outfits and put on this wife outfit, and they didn't suit me to what my perception was, to what I felt like I was supposed to provide as a mom and a wife. And I liked to work, but I couldn't work with the fibromyalgia because it conflicted with, I already had too many conflicting things going on. So something had to give.
So are you saying that, this internal conflicts in your mind could be the cause of this condition?
Yes. I'm saying what's happening is like I already had a passion and a desire before the condition came. Like I used to love to read the cards, and I used to love to give massages because I know how to find that point that somebody needs a release from, that suffers from them. And I gave those things up. It's nobody's fault. It's mine. I gave those things up. I'm the one who put them in the bag. Now, it took me those 40 years to discover that those were my tools or my gifts, It's like, oh, this is what I know how to do. Okay, I'm going to put it away. Oh, this is what I know how to do. Oh, I'm going to put it away. And even my herbs, I know how to do kinesiology just naturally, you know. So, but I'll just put this away like it's not important. So I put me away like I wasn't important. So yes, it's a mind over matter, because when I started living this other story is when it's like the energy is conflicting to what my DNA is telling me what I need to be doing. I'm well because I am doing those things today. I am reading the cards, you know. I'm not doing massages right now. You got COVID going on, you know.
Right. Okay.
But I'm back into being me, and that's loving myself. I'm completely and deeply in love with who I am.
You're accepting yourself as you are. You're perfect as you are. That's
and I don't care what anybody thinks. You know, I go out there, I'm walking my dog. I'm not walking my dog. I got music in my ears and I'm dancing when I'm walking my dog.
Right. Wow. So, you know, basically what I'm getting out of this is that fibromyalgia doesn't have any known cause. It's even difficult to diagnose, you know, and you have to rule out the other disorders, and then you can say, okay, maybe it was this. And then, of course, there are some, you know, techniques now which make it maybe a little bit more, you know, easy to diagnose this. So the order, a condition whose causes are not known, it's difficult to diagnose. Just to know that you have this itself is a struggle. You go to so many doctors and all of that. That's what you went through. And now what he's saying, what I understand from you is, you're saying that it was all a lot of conflicts going on and yourself not accepting who you are, and you're already living the life of your dreams, and then started putting them away. And this could be one of the causes. Because if there are no known causes and you know that you've gone through this and you feel so, then that must be it, right? Doctor certified or otherwise. This should be it. So, and that's why also now that you have overcome it, you know, then because you now understood this, you went off the pills, you did this all on your own, and you're off the pills now, and you're leading the life that you want really most of the times. That the condition is still there. It does come back, as I understand, right? It may come back.
Because it just goes dormant.
Just goes dormant, right? And it was, maybe it was not there, it was dormant earlier too. It just got triggered, came out, and you were able to push it back and make it dormant again. And, you know, because of the zeal of life, energy of life, you know, accepting yourself in totality, you know, and now you're flowing again. You're enjoying life. You're working as you want, right?
That's true. As long as I'm working in what I'm supposed to be doing, I am well, because I'm lost in what I'm doing. I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
So what are you doing, Cynthia? What are you doing exactly? Can I know that?
I'm on Zoom call. Look at, I'm on Zoom calls with you. I'm within other people. I'm at that lights my soul up. You know, I get to feel like when I'm doing the cards, I've got over 27 decks of cards, but most of them have been gifted to me. That's the crazy thing. And
what is that? Come again? I want to hear that again. 27 what?
Decks of cards that have been gifted to me. That means I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing because the universe has provided me with them.
Okay.
And that's because all I can do is read a happy ever after story, because I'm going to find the happy story. That's what I know how to do.
And people hearing this and, you know, having this similar condition, you know, or do not know that this is the condition, they would know this, and, you know, can, you know, take benefit of your experience, right? And that you overcame it. You're not dependent on any drugs, any doctor now anymore, and you're taken charge of yourself, your condition, you understand it, you know, and you were responsible driving it away or putting it in dormant or otherwise, but you don't need to face that anymore, right? You move around and you share your story and you help people with that. And that's, I mean, it must be so fulfilling, right? Having taken care of your own problem and being an inspiration to others, and then you can help others, right? Because there's no known cure to this. There's no known cure to this, as I understand. And, you know, that, and then here I'm talking to the cure. I'm talking to the person who's
I'm not the cure, but I have answers to help people that want to surpass that, but they have to really want it. They can't just come to me with a wish or with a hope. They have to believe. They have to believe that there's that answer, and they have to believe that they're going to go there. Because if they just wish it or hope it, the condition, it will take you under, because it's a heavy freaking thing.
Yep.
It is heavy. It's a lot of weight to hold. And so you have to have a weight strong enough to pull you forward.
Right.
And